Okay, folks, we're going to take a look at charges now. Get a little closer there to the action, see what's going on. One thing I do have to point out before somebody watching the video points it out for me. These are Cossack units, and I believe they can only be formed up in columns. This, like I said before, is not a column. It's a reinforced line of two squadrons, one behind the other. So technically, they're not in the right formation, but I'm ignoring that in this scenario. Basically, I don't have any more Cossacks painted up, and I want to use them. So there they are. They're on the table. They are formed up in reinforced line. I don't care left or right. So there they are. I think typically in these games, you'd probably have at least 3 squadrons in a unit. I think it might even be in the rules where that's the minimum size. I did read that today somewhere. In the very beginning, it talks about unit sizes and cavalry. I'll have to look back at that and see what it says. I mean, that's what it's all about, learning how to play, right? And again, bear with me, folks. I am learning right alongside you guys and also have the rules. But anyway, charge phase. To be honest with you, I don't think I'm going to launch any charges. Unformed units can support, although for an attacking side, I'm not sure if unformed units can support an attacking unit. Like, for instance, if these Russians, this unit here was charging, could this unit support him? He's unformed, but normally supporting, again, assuming they're facing the same direction. They're not in this case, but if they were, like that, could this unit support? And I ask that because normally the units that are supporting move forward towards the charged target to maintain their position with the charging friendly unit. So I'm kind of confused about that. But it's irrelevant, folks. I'm not going to launch any charges this turn because what I'd really like to do is get these guys formed up, as well as these French. They want to shore up the defenses and reposition themselves. I don't know if that's going to be an advantage or a disadvantage for the Russians because French do have some artillery who can fire right into these cavalry. So I'm not sure about that. But regardless, that's my plan for both sides in this situation. In the case of the Russians, they don't really know there's dragoons on the other side of this hill. They might be a little energetic and thrust themselves forward and attack these unformed hussars on the hill, but maybe not. To be honest with you, I think most wargamers are overly aggressive, more aggressive than their historical counterparts. I tend to feel that way. I kind of think gamers tend to just throw things aggressively at the enemy, pretty much in an unrealistic way. So I try to avoid that and take the better part of valor whenever I can and shore up the defenses, prepare my attacks a little bit better. Just don't throw them headlong into the enemy. So I'm going to do that in this turn. So, unfortunately, there is no charges in this turn, and we're going to get right to the next part of the turn, which is movement. But I'm sure, folks, we'll get into some charging, and I will record that, and we'll go through the details. I do have plans for both these brigades of cavalry, the Russians and the French, and we'll see what they do. But for now, there is no charges this turn. And, of course, if we look at the rest of the battle, the infantry spread around. Your skirmishers can't charge, neither can artillery, and the infantry are pretty much out of range of charging. It doesn't even make sense to do so for any of the infantry units. But they will be doing some maneuvering. So let's see what happens. That's next in the turn sequence, the movement phase. Let's see what happens when I get to that part of the turn. Okay, folks, hang in there. We're going to get this baby under control in a minute here. Take care.